The Russian military is still the largest supplier of military equipment to Ukraine. This video shows Ukrainian soldiers cleaning up the war vehicles left by their friendly brother and neighbor. Ukraine's arsenal of weapons used to counter Russian aggression is about to be replenished when President Macron announced that France will deliver Caesar self-propelled artillery and anti-tank missiles to Ukraine, but did not disclose the number. President Emmanuel Macron said on April 22 that France is supplying important equipment, from MILAN anti-tank missiles to Caesar self-propelled howitzers to Ukraine. Mr. Macron said that about 40 Ukrainian soldiers will be trained to operate the new weapon in France from April 23. French Defense Minister Florence Parly later confirmed the country would deliver several Caesar artillery pieces and thousands of rounds to Ukraine. The Elysee Palace refused to disclose the number of weapons that will be transferred to Ukraine because it does not want to disclose information, but said that it has already handed over MILAN anti-tank missiles, and artillery will be delivered in the coming days. Britain also announced that it would send tanks to Poland for the country to deliver the T-72 to Ukraine. We are considering sending tanks to Poland to help the country as they move some T-72 tanks to Ukraine, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said at a press conference on April 22 in India. We're looking at more of what can be done to fill jobs in countries like Poland, which want to send more heavy weapons to help Ukraine defend. Johnson said, the British Prime Minister did not specify the type of tank this country can transfer to Poland to compensate for the number of T-72 main tanks that can be transferred to Ukraine. The British Army is operating nearly 230 Challenger 2 main battle tanks. In addition to France and Britain, many Western countries have also recently increased arms aid to Ukraine. U.S. President Joe Biden on April 21 announced a new military aid package to Kiev worth $800 million, including dozens of howitzers, 144,000 rounds of ammunition and tactical drones. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on April 22 that Germany could provide weapons of its own production to replace Soviet-made weapons that NATO and EU members in Eastern Europe had sent to Ukraine, although before that, Germany is concerned that the move to transfer heavy weapons to Ukraine could cause tension with Russia. In another development, commenting on President Putin's decision to direct Russian forces not to enter the factory, instead tightening the siege of this industrial park, according to British intelligence, the decision to blockade the factory, the Azovstal of Russian President Vladimir Putin, shows that Moscow intends to contain Ukrainian resistance in the port city of Mariupol, while preserving Russian forces for deployment to other regions in eastern Ukraine. The all-out Russian attack on the Azovstal iron and steel plant could cause these forces to suffer significant casualties, reducing their overall combat effectiveness. The Azovstal iron and steel plant on the outskirts of Mariupol has a network of underground tunnels, likened to an underground fortress, where the last defensive forces of the city are holding out. Military experts say that if troops were deployed to this plant more than 10 square kilometers, Russian forces could be ambushed from many directions and suffer heavy losses, even if the enemy does not have rockets. Strong force. Russia previously announced that it controlled most of Mariupol, a strategic port city in southern Ukraine, with the exception of the Azovstal factory. Putin also asked the defense minister to continue calling on the Ukrainian forces entrenched inside the factory to lay down their arms and treat them humanely, in accordance with international conventions. British intelligence said that shelling and fierce fighting continued in the Donbass, as Russia aimed to advance further in areas such as Krasny-Lyman, Bueikva, Barvinkov, Lyman, and Popasna. The British Ministry of Defense added that Russian forces continued to suffer losses in Ukraine and had to return damaged military equipment to the country for repair. Russia has yet to respond to the British military intelligence report. Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said today that a warship in the Black Sea launched a series of Kalib cruise missiles against a battalion position in central Ukraine. The image released with General Konashenkov's statement shows a small warship launching 4 Kalib cruise missiles in the Black Sea, followed by footage of a Ukrainian battlefield almost completely flattened. General Konashenkov added that the Russian Air Force also launched a series of missiles, destroying a Ukrainian S-300 long-range air defense complex in the southern region of Novozelka, close to the Ukraine-Moldova border. a command post and multiple locations of Ukrainian forces in the Alexandrovka region of the southern province of Mykolaiv were also hit by rockets. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has not commented on this information. Russia is increasing the use of long-range missiles to attack targets on the territory of Ukraine, after announcing the completion of the first phase of the military operation at the end of March. At the beginning of the second phase of the operation, hitting multiple targets along the front line more than 480 kilometers in the Donbass region, eastern Ukraine. General Rustam Minikov, acting commander of Russia's Central Military District, said today that one of Moscow's tasks in the second phase is to comprehensively control the Donbass region and southern Ukraine. According to General Minikov, this allows Russian forces to open the way to Transnistria and Moldova, where he believes the Russian-speaking community is being oppressed. Meanwhile, the goal of controlling eastern Ukraine will help Russia establish a land corridor connecting the Crimean Peninsula, block Ukraine's access to the Sea of Azov, negatively affecting the country's economy.
местам скопления живой силы и военной техники противника.